Commissioners, we will call this meeting into session at 3:01 p.m. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Commissioners, great to be back in the chambers with you. I know we had an awesome retreat. Looking forward to a great meeting. First order of business, Commissioner Proctor, you are recognized for the introduction of the invocation.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. It's an honor to not only hear myself with this echo today, I sound good, but to introduce for our invocation the Reverend Craig P. Riley, the celebrated, venerable, and well-respected minister, Reverend Pastor of Leon County. Pastor Riley, if you would come at this time and lead us, and then following, I will lead us in the sharing of the Pledge of Allegiance.
Let us pray. Heavenly Father, we thank Thee for this first meeting of this year. And we pray, Master, that the commissioners will be open-minded, not about self, but about the community. We pray that we'll be able to listen and eulogize what the people have to say. Let them realize that it's an honor for them to be a commissioner, but it's also better to listen to the people. We pray, Master, that when we leave from this place, that we will leave with open minds and open hearts and willingness to work for the betterment of this country. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Bishop. Shall we stand now for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Amen. Mr. Chairman.
Commissioners, will someone make a motion for Commissioner Cummings to participate virtually?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor, moved by Commissioner Maddox, second by Mr. Vice Chairman to let Commissioner Cummings participate virtually. All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Next order of business, we have a proclamation recognizing the Shady Grove Primitive Baptist Church Voices of Victory Grammy nomination. Chairman O'Keefe.
Come on, make sure everybody's here. All right. Now, when you get the Grammy, you're coming back, right?
Yes.
All right. Whereas Shady Grove No. 1 Primitive Baptist Church Choir, also known as SG1 Voices of Victory, is a distinguished gospel music ensemble whose ministry through song has uplifted, inspired, and strengthened the faith of congregants and communities both locally and beyond. And whereas the choir, under the spiritual leadership of Pastor Lenore McFadden, has served as a powerful expression of worship, unity, and praise, reflecting the deep heritage of gospel and contemporary spiritual music. And whereas in February 2025, SG1 Voices of Victory released their first album entitled Sunday Morning Church, showcasing their rich vocal talent, heartfelt ministry, and spiritual devotion through songs written and arranged by members of the ministry. Since release, the album has garnered widespread appreciation within the gospel music community and among listeners of sacred music. And whereas the Sunday Morning Church album, produced by Eric A. Brown II of E2B Productions and Lenore McFadden of Conquerors Music, has been formally considered for nomination in the category of Best Gospel Album at the Grammy Awards, one of the highest honors in the music industry, recognizing excellence, artistic achievement, and exceptional contributions to gospel and contemporary Christian music. Additionally, the album has received significant radio play, maintaining placement on the Billboard Top 100 gospel charts over 6 months. And whereas the distinguished consideration for a Grammy Award brings honor not only to the members of Voices of Victory and Shady Grove No. 1 Primitive Baptist Church, but also to our community, continuing a legacy of spiritually and culturally impactful music ministries from the Leon County region. And whereas it is fitting and proper that our community publicly acknowledge and celebrate this remarkable accomplishment and honor the members of Voices of Victory for their dedication, discipline, and service through gospel music. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed by the Board of County Commissioners of Leon County, Florida, that we celebrate Shady Grove No. 1 Primitive Baptist Church Voices of Victory, and urge all citizens to join in congratulating and supporting Voices of Victory, recognizing their outstanding achievement, celebrating their music ministry, and encouraging continued excellence and spiritual service in our community and beyond. Dated this 27th day of January 2026, attested to by the county administrator, signed by the chairman and all the commissioners. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you. It is dangerous to give a preacher a microphone, but it's okay. Thank you, Commissioner O'Keefe, and to this entire commission. We appreciate each of you, and you just acknowledging this. I do want to say thank you to our Shady Grove No. 1 Primitive Baptist Church, known as the City of Victory. I want to thank our Voices of Victory for this amazing accomplishment. Until we win a Grammy and some more, they're mostly at work right now. We cannot afford to pay all of them, amen. But I want to thank them for being here and supporting us today. Again, thank you, and to God be the glory.
Commissioner Proctor, you're recognized.
Mr. Chairman, I just wanted to ask Pastor, they said the Grammys, Commissioner O'Keefe and I, we could get a stretch limousine. And you make sure you let us know where about in Las Vegas we're supposed to come that night. And I didn't know, I thought that District 1 had, the top sounding baddest choirs, but O'Keefe has the top baddest choir. And when you get the Grammy, folks, it speaks for itself. Congratulations to Shady Grove.
Thank you.
And Mr. Chairman, while
Commissioner Proctor, you're recognized actually for your recognition of Mr. John Osmond's positive impact on the community.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Before we get there, I just want to say also that not only are they singing, but Shady Grove has a leading food pantry, of which a few months ago they opened a wider pantry that's serving that east side and doing a marvelous job in that area of service. Thank you very much, Pastor. Yes, sir.
And I'll add, I told them I sung in the gospel choir in high school, but they didn't want any part of it.
How's everybody down here? We're good. All this green and whatnot. We're in action. I got you. All right. When you grab your eyeglasses and don't get your sheet of paper, that don't mean a thing. You need your paper and your glasses. Mr. Osmond, would you join me, sir? Sir. Mr. Osmond, I'm honored that no one else jumped up to read this and that this board is going to honor me with the singular pleasure of sharing our proclamation with you.
Thank you, sir.
Whereas in 1978, John M. Osmond served as State Senator Bob Graham's Leon County canvassing director during Senator Graham's successful campaign for governor of the state of Florida, demonstrating early and effective leadership in grassroots political organizations. And whereas in 1979, John M. Osmond was a charter member in the formation of ASME Local 3037, established to represent professional state employees and to advance collective bargaining, workplace protections, and employee advocacy. And whereas John M. Osmond was elected chair of the Leon County Democratic Executive Committee in April of 1990 and served with distinction until January 2000, becoming the longest-serving chair in the history of the Leon County Democratic, what that EC stands for? Executive Committee.
Correct.
All right.
In 1980.
all right, and providing nearly 2 decades of sustained leadership, growth, and organizational stability. And whereas Mr. Osmond, working in partnership with the Leon County Democratic Executive Committee and other community organizations, played a pivotal role in expanding civic participation by increasing Black voter registration in Leon County from 13,366 in 1980 to 20,267 in 1986, a remarkable increase of 51.6%. And in March 1983, registered 3,600 voters, setting the highest single-month voter registration record to that time. And whereas John Osmond served on the 1985 Leon County Charter Commission and strongly advocated for electoral reform, supporting a transition from at-large elections to either a 6 single-member district with 1 at-large seat or a 5 single-member district with 2 at-large seats, with the court ultimately ordering a 5-2 system in mid-1986 and during the 1990 congressional redistricting process, and successfully opposed efforts to divide Leon County into 2 separate congressional districts, preserving the county's unified representation in Congress. And whereas John Osmond worked alongside Coach Bobby Bowden to ensure that President William J. Clinton invited the Florida State University National Football Championship team to the White House, honoring the team's historic achievement and bringing national recognition to the community. Whereas, John, only 2 more of these to go. This is not a eulogy, brother. John M. Osmond is the longest-serving member of the Democratic National Committee in Florida's history, serving continuously from December 1992 through January of 2017, providing decades of leadership and institutional knowledge, and successfully presented and appealed in May 2008 to the Democratic National Committee Rules and Bylaws Committee that resulted in Florida having voting delegates to the Democratic National Convention that nominated Barack Obama for president. And whereas John M. Osmond and Al Lawson in 2019 created a Memorial Day remembrance for members of the military buried at Greenwood Cemetery, he has further demonstrated an enduring commitment to voting rights, fair representation, civic engagement, and public service, and is deeply appreciated for his lasting contributions to Leon County, the state of Florida, and the democratic process. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed that the Board of County Commissioners of Leon County, Florida, hereby recognize and commend John M. Osmond, dated this 27th day of January, 2026. Mr. Osmond, we salute your long history of work, and in times like these, this reflection is helpful to inspire all of us to continue the support of democracy here in America. I'm honored to present this proclamation to you that I've just read, coming from our board, if you'd like to say something.
Thank you, brother. Thank you, Commissioners. I've met most of you in person at one time. One day I'd like to have David or Christian over to the house so we can talk politics and enjoy ourselves. I know that everybody else has either received donations or help from me in the past. I do want to say to the younger people in this room that we are depending on you to be the leaders. I have put in my 40-plus years, but it's now your turn to step up to the plate. I bow in the direction of the young who are going to lead our political parties and our community forward into the future. And I thank you all once again, and I will now depart.
Rick, you want to go first? Just real quick, John, we go back a long time, man. It's good to see you in our chambers, and I think the words that you spoke were profound, and that recognizing that you've been in this game for 40-plus years and understanding that the only way leadership happens is through people pulling up our young folks from the bottom to teach them how to lead is very, very good message to send. And so that too speaks to the leader that you are, and even the leader that you'll continue to be as you live out your days here in Leon County politically. And so we appreciate what you've done, not just for Leon County, but for this nation. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, brother. I'm in the winter of life now, so it's you in the spring of life who need to leap forward and lead.
All right, Mike, I'll take this picture. John Osmond is one person who just don't care what you say about it. John, what we're gonna write on your tomb is he just eliminated. But you see him.
You can find it.
Thank you, John.
Commissioner Proctor, is that where you learned it from? Yeah, right.
Hey, Mr. Osmond, I just wanted to say a few remarks, if you don't mind. 20 years ago, I was an upstart DEC chair, and you were an elder statesman, and we were
That
at,
was 20 years ago, yes.
yes, and we were at loggerheads. It was a battle of wills, a constant battle of wills, and I can't tell you how happy I am that that's all in the past. But I tell you this, and I've told you this before, you constantly watching what we were doing, the DEC chair and the DEC and all that, you made me a better DEC chair because of that. And I've admitted that to you before. You've had a huge impact on Leon County, the state of Florida, the nation. I really want to thank Commissioner Proctor for bringing up this proclamation. It is a worthy recognition, and please give our best to Alexandria.
Thank you, thank you. That was very kind of you to say those words. I've never questioned anybody's character or integrity. I've only questioned their performance.
All right, Commissioner Maddox, you are recognized for the proclamation recognizing the Raw Middle School girls basketball team as the Leon County Division II champions. Raw Middle School.
Mr. Chair, you got that wrong. The undefeated
Undefeated. That part.
girls middle school basketball team. Man. Don't sell them short, man.
I believe this team will beat the University of Connecticut, you know?
Hey, man. They got enough on the team. I got to watch them play. All right, here we go. The proclamation reads, whereas the Raw Middle School girls basketball team exemplifies excellence, teamwork, sportsmanship, and school pride throughout the season. And whereas under the leadership of Principal Dr. Marcus Scott, these student athletes represented Raw Middle School in Leon County with distinction throughout a historic and highly successful season. And whereas led by head coach Yeomans with the support of assistant coach Richards, almost said Rickards there, Bill. It was close though. All right. Assistant coach Richards and assistant coach Butler, the team demonstrated discipline, determination, and exceptional sportsmanship both on and off the court. The Lady Rams completed an undefeated 10-0 season. Let's give them a round of applause for that. Showcasing dominance, preparation, and unity throughout the league play. And whereas over the course of the season, the team achieved an impressive final score totaling of 391 points while holding their opponents to 109 points, reflecting both offensive excellence and strong defensive execution. Their consistent performance and competitive excellence led them to secure the Division II championship title. And whereas the championship roster consists of 16 players, each student athlete played a vital role in the team's success throughout a hard-working season with hard work, resilience, and a shared commitment to excellence. And whereas the accomplishments of the Raw Middle School girls basketball team reflect not only remarkable athletic achievement, but also the value of leadership, perseverance, and collaboration fostered by their coaches, school administration, families, and community. And whereas the championship season stands as a proud milestone for Raw Middle School and an inspiration to future student athletes across Leon County schools, therefore be it proclaimed by the Board of Leon County Commissioners in Leon County, Florida, that we celebrate Raw Middle School girls basketball team Leon County Division II champions and congratulate them for their outstanding achievements. This is dated the 27th of January, signed by the chair as well as the rest of the commission, and attested to by the county administrator. Congratulations.
On behalf of Raw Middle School, our distinguished administration, Dr. Scott, all these young ladies worked so hard throughout the season. Practices and games were a pleasure to be at because they worked so hard and were so dedicated to what they did. And we're just so proud of what our young ladies were able to do this past season, and go Rams.
I would just like to also congratulate these students, not just for what they do on the court, but what they do in the classroom. So what you see before you as well is AB Honor Roll students as well. So they perform high in the classroom as well on the court. And also extra special, our 7th and 8th grade, who played last year as well. These students are marking their second year of not losing to a team at all. So we've gone for 2 years undefeated as well. So congratulations.
I'm gonna give him a photo.
Commissioner Matter, I have an election this fall, and I need to keep out some undefeated. That's why they can rub off on me, you know?
Mr. County Administrator, do we have any citizens to be heard on consent and non-agenda items?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, we have 3 speaker cards.
How many?
3. First speaker, Delantre Hollinger.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman and Commissioners. Delatry Hollinger, 750 Wells Street, Tallahassee. It's a pleasure to be with you today. I'm here this afternoon to discuss the recent rediscovery by city workers of an historic African-American cemetery in Tom Brown Park. It is important to note that Tom Brown Park is owned by Leon County and through an interlocal agreement maintained by the city. Though I had knowledge of this cemetery due to 4 of its marked graves being recorded for a number of years in the cemetery registry, findthegrave.com, I hadn't had the opportunity to visit the site until this morning. One of the burials is for the Reverend J.W. Kilpatrick, whose family members still live and work in Tallahassee. I received a call from Reverend Stanley Walker on Friday evening following the discovery, who informed me that Reverend Kilpatrick was the founding pastor of Tabernacle Missionary Baptist Church. I have also uncovered information that Reverend Kilpatrick founded, along with other African-American ministers, a local Bible college in 1927 for the training and upliftment of the community. It is Reverend Walker's desire, as well as my own, to restore this site for future generations and bring dignity to the cemetery. It is worth noting that the casket and bones found last week were a bit away from the graves of the Kilpatricks, which means that the cemetery's boundaries are likely pretty expansive. The only way to learn definitively the boundaries and to keep any more graves from being disturbed in the future is to conduct an archaeological site survey to determine the exact boundaries and cordon off this section. I will again note that you are the property owner. It is my hope, as well as the hope of Reverend Walker and the Kilpatrick family, that this cemetery can be incorporated into Tom Brown Park as a respectfully preserved memorial area where all Tallahassee citizens can come to reflect and pay respects. Thank you for your time and attention.
Thank you. Mr. County Administrator, next speaker.
Next speaker, Howard Kessler on consent item number 4.
Howard Kessler, 408 Plantation Road, Tallahassee. I'm here to speak on the agenda item concerning the grant from the relating to ICE. And if you are entertaining accepting this grant, I think first I would say that I urge you to reject the grant. But if you are considering accepting it, I would urge you to know fully before voting what accepting this grant obligates you to do. I don't know what it obligates us to do, but I do know accepting this grant, at the least, appears to say we are condoning the actions of ICE that we have seen over this last year. The cruelty, the inhumanity against citizens and non-citizens, against black and white, and now culminating in deaths. I think this money is tainted money. I think it sets a bad precedent. And if money has been spent, and this is reimbursement, it's still taxpayer money. One way or the other, it's the taxpayers who are funding and paying for this. And I urge you as a board to reject this money and make a statement against this cruelty and inhumanity that we have seen during this past year. Thank you.
Next speaker.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Final speaker on consent and non-agenda items, Lisa Lloyd, item 4. Calling Lisa Lloyd on item 4.
Hi, Lisa Lloyd. My address is on file. I want to speak on the same item, which I apologize. This is the first time I've been to one of y'all's meetings. I moved here 4 years ago from St. Augustine. I've been to a lot of St. Augustine city and county council meeting, and that's one of the reasons I'm here. If indeed there is a discussion, from what my understanding is, of giving access to an ICE training facility in Tallahassee, and that there's some kind of money that is being paid to do that. I want to give you a very experienced warning. I was part of the Confederate Monument process in St. Augustine and Jacksonville. Beyond the things that we have just experienced, the violence and the brutality and the death of this organization, and that really isn't a great noun because it doesn't explain the group. Number one, as the spokes, the people that are elected to speak for the county that represent us, I would hope that there's no consideration to bringing those people here, because they will be the same people that we dealt with in St. Augustine. They will be white supremacists. They will be 3%ers. They will be Proud Boys, and whatever any of those groups have morphed into, or whatever rock they have, gone onto and changed themselves and readmitted, will be in Leon County. These people are armed. They are very frightening. I've had my life threatened as part of the process. They sat outside of my house when I was there with my children in the middle of the night that I didn't find out for a while. Do not give any opportunity for that to happen. You do not want to bring those people. I don't care if they're locked up in their training facility, they will be in your community. They are lawless, they are violent, and they would love to hurt people, and they can do it even when they're off the clock. You don't want to bring them here. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. That concludes your speakers on citizens to be heard on consent and non-agenda items.
Thank you, Mr. County Administrator. Commissioners, we are now on consent and just. Okay. Second. Thank you. We have a motion moved by Commissioner Maddox, second by Commissioner Welch. Commissioners, just so you know, 3 items have been pulled from consent, 4, 11, and 15. So right now we're voting on all items except those 3. All those in favor of moving consent, signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Passes unanimously. Mr. County Administrator, who pulled item number 4?
Mr. Chair, it's Carolyn Cummings. I'd like to vote as well.
Thank you so much. Commissioner Cummings, feel free just to jump in anytime on the votes, and we'll put it on the record.
Absolutely. I vote in the affirmative.
Who pulled item number 4?
Item number 4 has been pulled by Commissioner O'Keefe. If you'd like a short introduction, I could do that.
Commissioner, sure, go ahead.
Sure. Commissioners, the item number 4 seeks your acceptance of multiple grants for the county, for Leon County Sheriff's Office. Again, I think included in that is one related to immigration enforcement pursuant to Florida law and an agreement related between the Sheriff's Office and the state of Florida. Just a couple important points to note. Again, the reason it's before you is very limited. The Florida statutes establishes the Board of County Commission as the fiscal agent for the sheriff's budget. So in addition to approving the sheriff's budget, you're also, it seeks your authority to be able to accept grants and to authorize the sheriff's office to be able to move funds within his budget. It's also important to note that the sheriff is, regardless of the action of the board today, the sheriff is still statutorily required to perform the duties and services enumerated as part of their normal law enforcement duties. They are required to do that. The issue is whether or not you will receive the funds from the state to offset the local impacts of any such work, which is reimbursable. So happy to answer any questions you might have. I know we've got the CFO from the Sheriff's Office here. And again, Mr. Chairman and Commissioner O'Keefe, just happy to answer any questions you might have.
Commissioner O'Keefe, recognized.
Thank you. I do have some questions and comments on this.
Yeah, for point of order, we have the motion on the floor.
Certainly. I move options 1 through 8, and then I'd like to deal with 9 separately.
Second. Okay, we have a motion on the floor, moved by Commissioner O'Keefe, Mr. Vice Chairman, for options 1 through 8, second by Commissioner Minor. Mr. Vice Chairman, you're recognized.
My discussion is probably better for when someone makes the next motion. I support 1 through 8, so there's no comment on that.
There's no comment?
Until we get to 9.
Yep.
We're going to dispose of the ones we all agree on.
Okay, cool. So we have, Commissioner Minor, are you in queue for this?
No, sir. I support the idea of voting on 1 through 8 right now to dispose of those first 8, and then we can talk about number 9.
Okay, great. So all those in favor by supporting Mr. Vice Chairman's motion on the floor, seconded by Commissioner Minor for options 1 through 8, signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Commissioner Cummings? Great, cool. Passes unanimously. So now we're still on this item if there's any other action to be taken on this item.
I'll get in the queue to speak. Someone else would need to make the motion if they would like to for 9.
You're recognized, Commissioner Maddox.
Mr. Chair, I make a motion that we waive the rules to be able to discuss number 9, to be able to discuss before a motion.
Second.
I will second, I will second the motion for purpose of discussion. However, can we have it, can you amend your motion to where it's just for this item? So we go back to.
Yeah, just for this item number 9. Yes,
Okay,
sir.
great. Second. All those in favor by waiving the rules for just this item number 4, signify by saying aye. Aye. Commissioner Cummings?
Aye.
Great.
Mr.
Okay.
Chair.
You recognize, Commissioner,
Can I have,
Commissioner Maddox?
may I ask the CFO a couple of questions from Sheriff's Office?
Of course. Is the CFO from the Sheriff's Office here?
Thank you. As the county administrator just told us, and the sheriff has always said this, no matter what the issue was, he is bound by the Constitution to act out his duties regardless of if he agrees with them or not. As relates to item number 9 and the funding for ICE, the sheriff has committed to doing what's required from the federal government related to it. I guess what I'm saying is we're very limited as to how we deal with the sheriff's budget. What most folks don't know is the sheriff is one of the few constitutionals that can petition the state to get the money that he feels like he deserves or needs to do his budget. I don't think there's any more constitutional that can do that. Is there maybe one more, Mr. Administrator? Is there anybody else that can do that?
Not the entirety of their budget. He stands alone in that regard.
Right, right. And so I lead with those questions because as I sit here and I'm thinking through it, if we don't take the grant, if let's say we vote against accepting the grant, how does that work for the sheriff's office?
We're still required to perform the duties under the section 908.1033, 908.11 of the Florida statutes, and therefore we would have to spend taxpayer dollars versus the state dollars from the grant.
So either way it goes, it's going to be our dollars, these grant dollars.
Yes, sir.
After the grant dollars, or if we accept those grant dollars and they're spent, is there any, as far as enforcement is concerned, I'm not at all trying to dictate what the sheriff does, but does he have any discretion when it comes to how he enforces monies used for the grant?
We have to support the State Board of Immigration Enforcement, which is outlined in section 908.1031 of the Florida statute. So basically, we have to provide for the temporary housing of individuals detained on immigration warrants, and we have to transport the detainees as well as do monthly reporting.
Right. So I'm willing to listen to the rest of the board, but I will tell you, I don't agree with everything. Thank you, ma'am. I'm done. I don't agree with what's going on pertaining to all of the issues that ICE has had and the violence and all that kind of stuff. But I'll tell you this, I'm going to have a hard time not accepting a grant based off of my opposition to enforcement, the way things are being enforced, when I know that the sheriff is going to have to then use your tax dollars, Leon County tax dollars, to then implement something that the federal government has sent down for them to have to enforce. And so it's going to be a tough vote for me either way. But I'm trying to understand the logic behind us as a board denying these grant dollars when it's either going to be an unfunded mandate that the sheriff has to do, or it's going to be a funded mandate. If it's unfunded, then the sheriff will have to take care of it out of his budget. It's not like he's going to say, I'm not going to do it. If it's funded, then he'll use these grant dollars. It's just, I think it's a very hard spot for us to be in, but I don't want to, I'm having a hard time contemplating putting the sheriff's budget $500,000 under when there's a possibility that he could use these grant dollars to fill that gap for something that he has to do. It's not like he has a choice there. He has to do it. He has to enforce this. So I'll listen to the rest of the board, but it's a tough vote for me to take. Thank you.
Mr. Minor, you recognize.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm appalled by what happened in Minneapolis earlier this month. My personal opinion, based on the evidence I've seen, is that actions taken by ICE agents resulted in the needless deaths of 2 American citizens, and that those citizens displayed no intention of harming ICE agents in the moments before they were killed. This is not immigration enforcement. That being said, unfortunately, every sheriff's office in Florida is required to provide assistance to ICE. That means the Leon County Sheriff's Office must provide assistance to ICE. Sheriff McNeil can't change that. The County Commission can't change that. And here's a key point. I want everyone to listen to this, and if I could have the CFO of the Sheriff's Office come back up. According to what the LCSO's General Counsel has said and what the CFO has told me a few minutes ago, there will be no changes to the LCSO's activities related to supporting ICE, regardless of whether this grant is approved. No increase, no decrease. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay. This is a key point. Would you mind stating that just for the record?
If we don't accept the grant, the funds will come out of the Sheriff's Office budget. We still have to perform the duties required to by the statute.
And the scope and depth of ICE activities will not change, it will not increase or decrease, regardless of what the vote is today?
Correct.
Okay. That's a key point. Let me be very, very clear. A yes vote means that the state pays for it. A yes vote is not a vote in support of ICE. A yes vote does not encourage ICE to come to our community. A no vote means that Leon County taxpayers will fully pay for it. A no vote is not a vote against ICE. A no vote does not discourage ICE from coming to our community. In other words, today's vote only determines whether the state or Leon County will pay for the Sheriff's Office's support of ICE. That's it. Listen, I know there are people here who are extremely upset with this agenda item. I am too. If I could vote to prevent or even reduce this administration's ICE operations in Leon County, I would do it. But that vote isn't available to me today. I'm required to vote one way or the other, and I'm voting yes because while I can't reduce ICE operations in Leon County, I can take this step so that Leon County taxes aren't paying for it. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Commissioner O'Keefe.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. First, I want to make sure everybody who's here understands we are not voting on a new facility or anything like that. This is a vote on accepting grant funds as fiscal agent for the Leon County Sheriff's Office. And so to be clear, the Leon County Sheriff's Office operations and what they do is totally outside of our jurisdiction. We are only voting on whether to accept money tied to a grant as their fiscal agent. So I just want to make that clear so there's no confusion. And I also want to say first that I have great respect for our sheriff and sheriff's office, and I want to thank them and their CFO for meeting with me last week and for spending time to helping me understand what's going on and to send information. I can't think of another person I would rather have as our sheriff. So to me, that's not what this is about. I do have some questions. We approved a budget for sheriff operations at the beginning of this year. And did any of that include approving budget for immigration enforcement?
Not explicitly. It did include transportation and detention and a long list of issues, but unless Elise can provide any clarification, I don't believe explicitly.
Okay. And then the question was going to be, and I think it's important to note, what we're voting on accepting is roughly $500,000 of grant money. And the Sheriff's Office has helpfully provided that so far for related activities. We've only spent about $18,000. And so to me, that means that we haven't done that much activity so far, but it takes a lot to go from $18,000 spent over almost a year to $500,000 spent by the end of this fiscal year. Are all of these enforcement activities from this grant going to happen in Leon County, or are deputies going to be deployed to other areas or activities in the state?
That would be a question for the sheriff's representative.
For this particular grant, it's just Leon County. I will say the updated costs are $29,511. Keep in mind that when this grant award was announced, we had a month to estimate costs, so we estimated as best we could with the information that we had. So the reimbursement is up to $499,000.
And when we talked, you mentioned that, that there is going to be deputies deployed out of town for other areas. Is that for immigration, and is that separate from the grant?
It would be separate. It's to support the activities in what they call Alligator Alcatraz.
Okay. And then the county attorney has helpfully already told me that the grant has been agreed to by the sheriff, and so the sheriff is already obligated by that agreement. But what I want to point out, and that way I can be corrected if I misunderstand this, when I look at the deliverables of this grant, it's $499,000 total. It's a significant increase. And it wasn't, for example, $250,000 of it is made up of overtime to train 62 people and $1,000 bonuses for those 62 people to be trained for immigration with ICE training. That is significantly more than we've done, and it makes up most of the grant. It also includes reporting into a database that goes into the immigration system, all interactions with people who are suspected immigrants, whether they are arrested or not, including vast information about their work, personal life, including pictures of their faces that will go into that database. Those three things in particular, were those already required before this grant was ever agreed to, or are they required because the grant's agreed to now?
So as part of the grant, we are allowed to get reimbursed for the overtime and for the bonuses. I will say that as far as the LEO bonuses, we're no longer eligible for that because we're not participating in an ICE task force at this time. So that part has changed. But keep in mind, we had a month to submit what we thought we were going to do. So that's what we did. As far as the overtime, obviously we've spent less on the training than we originally anticipated.
You just said there are, forgive me for my limited learning I've learned over the last week on this. There's a warrant service office level of agreement, which we've done since 2019, that is, for simplicity's sake, related to detention and when someone's in our detention center, transferring them when requested.
Right.
Task force is a higher level, and that is going outside of the detention center and in the community and that kind of thing. Did I hear you right that we're not participating in task?
This time we're not participating. We have not been asked to.
Gotcha. Would it be fair to describe the activities in this grant as task force model?
I would leave that to an operation.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. Thank you. Those are all my questions. And again, I do appreciate you and your office making yourself so available. So I'm glad that our discussion is staying within the scope of what we're voting on today, which is just whether we accept money for this. The grant is already agreed to and signed by the sheriffs, and we don't have jurisdiction over this. But I cannot support an immigration enforcement grant. No matter where they are from, everyone deserves to be treated with dignity and respect that honors their humanity. Accepting this money to me means agreeing to participate in a system that robs people of their humanity and makes no one safer. The program doesn't just target dangerous criminals. Most of the people detained have no record. We've seen families torn apart, people arrested at hospitals and at court check-ins, and even deaths in their custody. This is not public safety. This is stoking terror and fear. History shows us that following unjust laws has caused great harm before, and I believe it's my job to protect dignity and humanity, not to trade or give those up regardless of grant dollars. The grant will require more reporting to ICE, more training, and unrelated possible deployment to other parts. That's already there. And none of that makes Leon County safer. To me, it only deepens our involvement in a system that is immoral and unjust. So for me, the choice is clear. I will vote no because I cannot accept money to support a system that robs people of their humanity.
Mr. County Commissioner, I want to make a point, ask, I guess, a point of clarification, just for the record straight, and there's no misinformation. Whether or not we accept the grant or not, that the duties performed by the sheriff are still going to be performed.
I think that that's correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what we're voting on is whether or not Leon County taxpayers pay for it, or we get a grant from the state to pay for it.
That's correct.
Okay. So I want to make sure that point is clear. We as the county commission have no say over another constitutional office in how they perform their duties. Right now, this is the discussion of who pays for it. I want to make sure that that conversation is clear. If we vote no on this item, Leon County residents pay for this. If we accept this item, Leon County residents get reimbursed by the state for this service. Is that a fair understanding of what we're talking about? Okay.
Yes, it is.
Thank you. Commissioner Proctor, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The sheriff is operating mainly with the detention facility, and you've indicated, Madam CFO, that there's been no activity, or the sheriff is not engaged beyond confines of the detention facility. Is that accurate?
Have not participated in a task force,
What does that mean?
but we have had
Operational.
activity within Leon County.
So if I misunderstood you,
Yes, we've had 87 detainers that have been received at the detention.
okay, hold it right there. So, Ms. Hiker, Teresa, based on our jail numbers that we've looked at, the Public Safety Council, how many detainees have ICE presented to Leon County's detention facility, for which at $136 per night, Leon County residents are thus paying the overnight or the all-day fee for those persons with whom neither TPD nor Leon County Sheriff's Office has arrested. Can we use this grant money to pay for a hotel bill for ICE detainees? And you said it in 87.
So we're required to house them and then and either transport them to ICE or have ICE pick them up within 48 hours.
Does this money allow us to be reimbursed? Is this a part of the 18,000 that's been
Yes,
encumbered?
this reimburses us for that
Okay,
time.
very good, very good. Teresa, those numbers sound like the ones that you've presented to our council.
Yes, Commissioner Proctor. Actually, I got an update from the Sheriff's Office. There are 0 individuals that are detained on ICE holds only. There are 7 in custody, but they also have local charges. And so as the sheriff's reported, we house those with local charges. Once they're detained, they have 24 or 48 hours to be released and go to federal custody.
Very good. Commissioners, I simply believe, and I'm sensitive to Commissioner O'Keefe's concerns, but I don't think that the sheriff's office should take a hit for being voluntold by the federal government that he must participate. I don't know if the word bribery is appropriate, but you remember in launching this program, this boatloads of money were put out to all of the participatory agencies of law enforcement so as to that they would participate and not have fears of the costs for which were unbudgeted. So federal government put a lot of bait, B-A-I-T, there to induce agencies local everywhere and to take their fears from participating because it wouldn't be a financial loss for the jurisdictions. That's what this is, bait, B-A-I-T money, to induce participation from local sheriff. And I see it as that made clear that beyond housing, which we are housing now about just under 1,000, we over 1,000, Teresa? 1,048. And those heads that have been added to are absolutely, I wouldn't say nebulous, but it's not major. So in this sense, let's take this money back, let the state, in their voice of redness and their desire to support a red agenda, eager to receive this money. And just like this money with DOT, we pay the bill for DOT and we get reimbursed. Sheriff is putting out money and they're going to get reimbursed. And that's how the bigs do you, use you, pay you later. I'll support Commissioner Maddox's discussion in favor of his point of view. Thank you.
Mr. Maddox.
I'll make the motion for staff recommendation on item number 9. And then I have a comment.
Motion moved by Commissioner Maddox, second by the immediate past chairman. You are recognized, Commissioner Maddox.
Thank you. I enjoy political discourse more than anybody. We get up here and we discuss things and we talk and we get an opportunity to tell the general public how we feel, we get clarity, and we ask questions. There's times like this, though, that I get a little frustrated because semantics, the use of words and the way words are used can sometimes paint a picture that that's not the truth of what's really going on in the room. I appreciate some of the comments that have been made today, but then there's some that I think just aren't as sincere about what we're doing here today. As I said before, this is a very hard vote to take because, again, if I vote not to take these dollars, in essence, you as our taxpayers will be paying for these services. It's not, as Commissioner Kessler spoke to earlier, he talked about the vote being a vote of support. And I want to let you all know, I don't think anybody up here supports the violence that we've seen. I don't think anybody up here supports the way things have been enforced. I think everybody's on the same page about how we feel about that. But then again, I think most of us are on the same page too in the fact that, as Commissioner Proctor said, we got 1,048 people in our jail. And our sheriff's budget is stretched thin to try to make sure that he's protecting Leon County citizens. And for us to ask him to take money from his budget that you all have given him to work with to pay for things that he may not agree with that are coming down from the state, I think is unfair. So I made the motion not as a support of what ICE has done and who ICE may be to this nation, but I made the vote in support of the sheriff being able to be reimbursed for things that he may have to do, or no, not even may. He's been made to do by enforcement from the state and the federal government. My vote is to help him, to make sure his budget isn't harmed from what he's had to do or what he may have to do. And Madam CFO, I hope you'll take that message back to him that I, for one, understand the strain that he's under and understand even, understand the pressures that he's under to have to do his job. But one thing I can say about our sheriff is I know our sheriff won't allow the job to be done the way it's been done in other places. And so even with that, I put my trust in the sheriff to make sure some of the incidents that we've seen across this nation won't happen here in Leon County because we have one of the best sheriffs this nation, this world could have ever wanted. And he'll be one of the fairest people as he enforces these things that he may not want to enforce, but he has to enforce through policy that has been put down on him. And so I make, again, my motion and this vote in support of the sheriff and trusting the sheriff that what we do here in Leon County won't match what anybody else has done across the nation, and that we will do it in a way that Leon County citizens and Leon County residents and Leon County electeds and all alike would be proud of what we've had to do, even though we didn't want to do it. So I would ask us board members to think about each other at times like this and the statements that we make, because to think that, or to paint the picture of, well, a vote in favor is a vote in favor of the sheriff, as I like to deem it. His budget is a vote in favor of ICE and what is done. That is not fair to us. It's not fair to us as commissioners. It's not fair to our constituents to paint that kind of picture. And I hope that as you all see us take this vote, that you'll be able to see and understand what the truth is, and that you'll be able to read through some of the comments that are being made. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you for the comments, Commissioner Maddox. Commissioner Cummings, do you have any comments?
Mr. Chair? Yes, I do.
You're recognized.
Do I have the floor, Mr. Chair?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you so much. First of all, I want to thank Mr. Howard Kessler and Ms. Lisa Lord for coming before the board today, making their presentation as private citizens. And as a private citizen, I tend to agree with them that we have a broken national system with ICE. And I think it's come more readily apparent to all of us with the deaths that have occurred, loss of life in Minnesota. But I sit here in this meeting and having read all the material as a private citizen, but also as an individual that represents the best interests of the citizens of Leon County. And as it relates to our sheriff, I have enormous respect for our elected sheriff. I respect his integrity. I respect the fact that he is dedicated to enforcing the law that he's required to enforce. I recognize that at this particular time, with this particular grant, based on my reading, several of the dollars is for reimbursement for services that he has performed. And make no mistake about it, the services that the sheriff performs, his cooperation with the federal government is part of his duties and responsibilities. And I do believe, and we have seen it in this state, where elected officials have been removed from office if the governor and his staff determines that they're elected, their duties, and not carrying out their duties. I believe our sheriff has done what he has been required to do, and with my hat as an elected Leon County commissioner, I tend to do what I believe is best for the citizens of Leon County. The sheriff is going to continue to be obligated to do what he has to do in conjunction with the federal government as it relates to immigration enforcement. He will continue to incur costs. He will continue to be engaged with training for his officers. And we know that it's a burden, financially and otherwise. So even though at this particular time our concern is heightened by the atrocities that we have seen committed by ICE, it doesn't lessen the fact that we need to support our sheriff. I'm here to support the law enforcement that he does. I'm here to support the duties that he has carried out as it relates to cooperation and cooperation with immigration and immigration enforcement. So while I have mixed emotions about what's going on in this country, in various states, my sentiment and my concern is for citizens of Leon County not having to bear the financial burden of situations related to immigration enforcement. So, commissioners, I support the agenda item. Like all of us, I have mixed emotions about it, but I thoroughly believe that's the right thing to do. It's the appropriate thing to do. And I think it's certainly appropriate for all of us to support our sheriff. He's a great law enforcement officer in this county. So thank you, Mr. Chair. Those are my comments.
Thank you, Commissioner Cummings, for those sincere and genuine comments. We appreciate you. We miss having you in the chambers tonight. Commissioner Welch, you are recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just wanted to reiterate a little bit and clarify, in hearing Commissioner Maddox's comments, I think it's unfortunate that it was implied that supporting this item, is somehow indifferent to the humanity of people. I don't think that was Commissioner O'Keefe's intentions. I understand the principled nature of his argument, and I think we all share that. I think we all, it goes without saying, are appalled by what we're seeing in Minnesota in regards to the way that those enforcement actions are being carried out. But I also think we have to be pragmatic about the reality of this situation. I mean, if we think people are appalled by what they're seeing in Minnesota, I think our local community would be more offended by using our tax dollars to pay for what the sheriff is statutorily required to do. I think we must acknowledge that for the public to hear this in very simple terms, we have no jurisdiction over national immigration policy, nor do we have any jurisdiction over our sheriff, nor do we have any jurisdiction over what our sheriff is statutorily required to do. This is a simple reimbursement from the state, which is allowable under the sheriff's statutorily required duties. So I think we should tread carefully when we talk about these impassioned, principled issues for which we have no jurisdiction. I think it's very important that we be careful about making political statements from a dais where we are conducting policy discussions. I think that's very important, and it's unfortunate that, because what happens when we put ourselves in that posture is we hear implications like we've heard. And that's, I think, offensive to our board. I think that's not fair, and I think it's unfortunate. We are a pass-through agency for this money. It is purely perfunctory. We are doing what our sheriff is asking us to do, whom we all unanimously support and think is doing a great job. If you think we're in a difficult position, imagine the position he's in, okay? So I think I would urge us as commissioners to tread carefully in how we talk about these political issues from a policymaking perspective, and be fair and be pragmatic and be realistic about what is actually going on. That's my comments, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Immediate Past Chairman. All right, Commissioners, I'm going to take this to a vote. Right now, I believe Commissioner Maddox made the motion to accept option number 9. I believe it was seconded by Commissioner Proctor. All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed?
Aye.
Commissioner Cummings, are you in the affirmative or negative?
Aye.
Okay, so the motion passes 6-1 with the Vice Chairman in dissent. Commissioners, any other action on that item? Okay, all right. We are going to move to the next item, which was pulled by Commissioner Proctor. The next 2 items are pulled by Commissioner Proctor, and that's item number 11. Commissioner Proctor, you are recognized.
Chairman, thank you. Commissioners, I pulled this item. I was looking at the language.
Yeah, I need a motion on the floor. Commissioner Proctor?
Move option 1.
Second. You're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The language presented to us indicates, this item is a classic in political science class, a class called State and Local Government. And if you want to see the interrelation of state and local government, this particular item does that. And it's a item dealing with Did you want the administrator to introduce this item first
Sure,
and not myself?
yeah. County Administrator, sure.
Happy to, yes.
I found myself stumbling.
Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, this item simply seeks the board's approval of the lowest responsive bidder for the maintenance and operation of landscaping along Capitol Circle Southwest and Southeast. Again, Rotolo Consultants was the lowest responsive bidder. Happy to answer any questions you might have.
Well, we got the lowest responsive bidders. This is complicated between state and local government, political science stuff, great stuff. And we find that the city in whose airport both directions would be on Capitol Circle, coming from that way and coming from this way, would lead into the international airport. But commissioners, it disturbs me that the city, their interlocal agreement, when we looked at the renewal cost of the city's interlocal agreement, it was very, very expensive. And our staff told us that it wouldn't be efficient to do so, to go with them. They cost too much. Then subsequent to this little tit-to-dat on 1, 2, 3, 4, the 5th paragraph on the background, and that next paragraph says, subsequently, the city declined to enter into a 1-year agreement, and the invitation to bid process was initiated thereafter. Now, I'm trying to tell y'all, unless I've misunderstood this, we're talking about a fire service agreement and all these other billions and billions of dollars worth of stuff. But it disturbs me that we can't even get the city to cut the grass and join us in paying for cutting the grass to their airport. And it jumps off the page. It's phenomenal. And then it indicates that just in terms of grass cutting, that it was determined that in-house staffing did not possess the necessary qualifications. I mean, what's bothersome about this, even deeper, Commissioner Welch, that staff sent out the bid request, a response for persons to respond to this, to 9,546 vendors. The county received 7 bids. 4 were deemed non-responsive and did not meet the FDOT required contractor qualifications. 9,500 requests for responses to cut the grass, and only 7 people responded, and only 3 were responsive. 4 of those got thrown out. The state of being a grass cutter is getting too high. And the qualifications to cut the grass is just over the top, unreasonable. And these qualifications that were set were imposed by the state FDOT. They rule out us doing it in-house with our own staff persons, which we said we just don't have that personnel. We don't meet the qualifications. People have been cutting grass since Moses was a little boy. And now we're preempted that we can't use public works because they're not qualified. So we end up in this contract with somebody from Slidell, Louisiana. I don't even know what that is. Slidell. And local hiring, local business, like the OEV office could get. We got a lot of people pulling, machinery to cut the grass. But I'm frustrated that if we're going to develop our economy, but in order to cut the grass leading to the Tallahassee Airport, we got to go away 5 states over to get somebody to cut our grass. Something is wrong. And I'm very disturbed. This needs to be lifted up, brought to the light. And I extend apology to all the men and women Pete's Lawn Service, Greg's Lawn Service, Bill's Lawn Service, Caban's Lawn Service, all kind of lawn service around Tallahassee, but all y'all not good enough to cut grass on Capitol Circle. But when you're working interlocally with state government, and it's just unclear why they got to look over our shoulder to cut grass. But this is the dynamic of state and local government and how it works and don't work at the same time. And that the city would bow out, not sign on the agreement, but that's just like the city. That's just like the city, won't do their part. So two governments can't agree. The state is asking us to foot the bill to get reimbursed. Then we got to go way over to Louisiana to find a person that qualifies by the state of Florida to cut some grass. This is very disturbing to me. But I pull that, commissioners, that we're looking at these details of how we're depriving and denying local citizenry grass cutting, and they not qualified. And when you send out 9,000 some bids, people, and everybody's saying, something's wrong. Thank you very much, commissioners. I've moved that we.
Thank you, Commissioner Parker. Commissioner O'Keefe, did you want to say anything? Are you in the queue? I saw you go in and out.
Oh, yes.
Okay, yeah, you're recognized.
Thank you. I just wanted to say that a few months ago, we could have just voted to accept continuing the agreement with the city, and this is one that made sense at the time. And I think that we ought to, despite our disagreements with the city on other things, where things make sense, like we're just, sharing, cutting the grass, where things are near it, we don't need to dig this much into it. So I support where we are now, but just want to point out we could have just stayed with the city and not spent any more money.
Yeah, Commissioner O'Keefe, I think if I recall, the spirit of the conversation when it came to us originally was that, hey, when we have these RFPs come to us, let's put an RFP out versus, support a local business. And I think that was actually the original direction of the board. And from my understanding, some feelings got hurt across the street. And next thing I know, they said that, hey, we don't want it anymore. So, I'm all about what makes sense best for local taxpayers. I am actually, if it's cheaper to do an interlocal agreement versus having an RFP and supporting a business or a local business or creating jobs, I ultimately want makes the most sense for taxpayers. But that's my opinion. I'm sure you share the same sentiment. All right, we have a motion moved by Commissioner Proctor. I believe I second the motion. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Commissioner Cummings?
Aye.
Awesome.
Aye.
So we are now on item number 15. Mr. County Administrator, you want to introduce the item?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Commissioners, this item seeks the board's acceptance of the fiscal year 25 annual performance and financial report. Again, this is something that we provide you twice a year per policy. Very happy to answer any questions you might have.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we accept the report.
All right, motion moved by Commissioner Proctor, second by Commissioner Maddox. Commissioner Proctor, you're recognized for discussion.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This item packs a lot of information. I believe that this item should have been and still can be, it ought to be workshop. And I believe that this item ought to be workshop consistent with the 7 scenarios that we were presented on yesterday with respect to the potential and possible measures that may be on Florida's ballot in November to reduce property taxes. I see several things here, and I want to point out, commissioners, that under the strategic initiatives, under governance, under number 10, under governance on page 772, 1015, on attachment 1, or page 4, 1. Why we got so many different page numbers on one document? About 3, 4 different numbers. But one of the things that I was encouraged by and was cheered by, and that is the fact that that 10 indicates that to evaluate future opportunities to acquire eligible non-conservation federal lands for the provision of affordable housing and public services. And I certainly on yesterday had asked this very inclusion, but this element was already there. And I wanted to indicate to the board that I went back through it and found it, this needle in the haystack. So thank you, staff, thank you, Vince, for already there, beat me there. And that was encouraging to me. I saw also, commissioners, and I don't know what you saw, we're going to continue to seek matching grants to convert septic to sewer systems. We're going to evaluate requiring advanced wastewater treatment. What I'd like to ask here is that we schedule a bus tour, van tour, that we get to look at this area, geographic area, that we're converting septic to sewer. And I've been hearing about septic to sewer for years, but I was requesting consideration that our staff affords this commission eyeball looking at what we're talking about operationally, how this happens, and to walk us through. We've received piles of money, and you know, when you get sewer money, that goes underground, so nobody gets to see. But I believe that in terms of accountability, transparency, and our stewardship, that we owe the citizens of this community a kind of front row seat of visualizing. So I'd like to include that in the motion, Mr. Chairman, that commissioners be afforded, all of us, our individual, whatever, to look at this area geographic and what operationally, from the citizen to signing up to how you get involved in all of that. A lot of this is in your district and mine, Mr. Chairman, but that's a part of my motion.
Could you clarify what you're trying to include in the motion?
The motion that has been presented includes the one that staff makes with the addition of this commission being afforded a tour of the geographic area for the dominant portion of sewer, septic to sewer.
Commissioner Pollack, if I may, real briefly. Mr. County Administrator, so question, if any commissioner wanted to have a tour of the septic to sewer project, does that take board direction? Would staff be willing to just give a private tour to any commissioner?
Happy to do it. And if you want the highlights, Commissioner Cummings could provide it. She spent a day with us doing that. Anytime a commissioner wants to do it, we'd be happy to take you on that tour.
Yeah, I believe if we do it as a group, we'd have to be like publicly noticed, right?
Correct. I was going to say individual tours.
Yeah. Commissioner Proctor, are you okay with individual tours?
Sure, but I didn't want to get an advantage on all y'all, and then I'll be up here talking and y'all be looking like, what are you talking about?
We need a Mercedes Sprinter van for Commissioner Proctor to have that tour. Make sure it's got four-wheel drive, though. Commissioner Proctor, if you're okay with it, can we keep your motion as originally stated?
Sure.
And that way, staff has direction.
But I'd like for staff to know that then, if the group doesn't want to, I do. Okay.
I'd be happy to do an individual tour as well.
Okay, good. Okay. Then, commissioners, this is a thick item. It really should be workshop. Yes, still option one. Rashonda, good morning. I was looking at, Rashonda, page 115 of 159. And this is looking at our major revenue summary. And my ask, you may not know, but on yesterday, y'all gave us, told us to look at all these scenarios. It was about 7 of what it would look like. And what I wanted to ask is the residual impacts for each of those 7 scenarios. I believe that in our future budget workshop, that this page right here needs to be a part. This right here is where the rubber meets the road. And to what extent are these areas going to specifically be impacted by, be it a 40% reduction, 17% reduction in the other scenarios that we looked at? That's very, very important. And also over on page 143, the grants program. The grants program, library services, human services, community partnerships, public works, all of that. The funding impacts contrasted to and calibrated with those 7 scenarios which we were presented. Those are the things which, those are the things that, you know, we got to deal with. Now, what across the board looks like, some of these we're going to end. Some of these going to have to be graveyard dead because we're not prioritized. But if we reduced and did a blanket reduction commensurate to whatever the final measure going to the ballot, this commission needs to be informed. These are the exact measures of what we got to decide on. So I wanted to lift that up as I was thinking integratively and with the future of what I believe staff has to bring us back to a meeting here, workshop after March, and we know what direction the legislature is going. Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Commissioner Proctor. We have a motion on the floor, moved by Commissioner Proctor, second by Commissioner Maddox. All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye. Commissioner Cummings?
Aye.
Awesome.
Aye.
Passed unanimous. Commissioners, we are now on general business. It's 4:30 p.m. I'm going to take us to 5:30. We'll take a break. We'll come back to it. Item number 16, Mr. County Administrator.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Commissioners, item number 16 seeks your ratifications of board actions taken at yesterday's board retreat, so it should all be fresh in your memory. We're recommending option 1. I have no speakers on this item. Happy to answer any questions you might have.
Second.
Staff recommendation moved by Commissioner Welch, second by Commissioner Minor. Any discussion?
Mr. Chairman, I might say as a discussion on the discussions from yesterday that it was damn good discussion. I want to thank you for your leadership of the discussions that we had.
Thank you.
I don't want to discuss no more.
Let the record reflect that Commissioner Proctor said it was a damn good discussion.
Yes, sir.
All right, all those in favor on the motion on the floor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Passed unanimously. Thank you, Commissioner Cummings. Item number 17, Mr. County Administrator.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Commissioners, brief introduction here. Again, this item seeks your ratifications of the local government commitment of funding to the Villanova Apartments for affordable housing rental development. Commissioners, this is a big deal because it's the first project that has come through and that we've vetted and are recommending ratification of the local commitment since the board established the new gap financing program for affordable housing projects through Blueprint. Again, as you can see here, this will this $93,000 and some change on our side will help us leverage about $7.2 million, and it will result in 86 affordable housing units. And we have one speaker card on the item. Commissioners, happy to answer any questions you might have.
Move the item, Mr. Chairman.
Oh, we have a speaker. We have to have a speaker first, right?
Yes, one speaker on this item, Otis B. Young.
Otis B. Young, 8930 Wingfoot Drive, Tallahassee, Florida, 32312. Good afternoon, Commissioners. My name is Otis Young. I humbly serve as the co-president of Capital Area Justice Ministry, also known as CAJM. I'm honored to speak here today on behalf of CAJM Network and many congregations, families, and neighbors who we represent. I want to begin by saying something important. CAJM came before you advocating affordable housing. We came with urgency. We were firm, we were persistent, and today I come with the same strength, but with a different posture. Today, first of all, we came to say two simple words: thank you. We are here because this proposed project represents exactly the kind of action we were advocating for when the county adopted affordable housing, GAP, financing and incentive program with CAJM's input and support. This project matters because it targets the families at the greatest risk of our community, those who are ready to exit homelessness. These are not abstract numbers to us. These are people that we know. These are people that I know. These are families who are trying to take their next step toward stability. I want to be very clear about why CAJM is celebrating this proposed loan. First, the project meets the criteria of the county's affordable housing gap financing and incentive program by setting aside 15% of these units for households with extremely low income, defined by the Florida Housing Finance Corporation as 40% or less of the area median income. Secondly, the remaining 85% of the units will be set aside for households earning 60% or less of area median income. That means this project is truly designated for people who are often left behind in the market. And thirdly, these affordable commitments will be maintained perpetually, not temporarily, not permanently. This kind of long-term accountability is exactly what CAJM has been calling for. I also want to share why this is personal for me. I lead Kingdom Life Preparatory Academy, and every day I encounter students whose lives are directly impacted by housing instability. I see how the uncertainty of housing affects learning, behavior, and hope. When housing is unstable, everything else is off. So when I say here today, I'm not just speaking as an organizer of a faith leader. I'm speaking from someone who sees it every day. Thank you so much.
Mr. Chair, move the item.
Any other speakers, Mr. Commissioner? No. Commissioner Maddox, you're recognized.
Thank you.
You moved the item?
Yes, move the item. Yes, sir.
Commissioner Maddox moved the staff recommendation, second by Commissioner O'Keefe. Commissioner Maddox, you are recognized.
Well, today has been a long time coming. I can't even tell you how many years ago we sat in the chambers. I had my first meeting with CAJM to talk about the housing program that was over in Pinellas County, was it? Yeah, and how they were doing something innovative over there that we can bring over here, and we can maybe use some blueprint funds. And they identified how much funds we were going to use, and we were going to take it to blueprint, and we were going to be successful. It didn't quite happen that way. But what I can say is that you all kept at it, you believed in it, kept coming back, kept having the conversation. And even though at Blueprint we couldn't get it done, you had the foresight to see you had enough of the county votes to come over here and start something special. And it was a step-by-step political gain that helped our community that I can say that you all did yourself. You should be proud of yourself for that. Because I had conversations with you, but some of the things that I was thinking, you took a step further in that, well, we'll come to the county and we'll get the county to commit dollars, but then maybe we can get Blueprint to commit dollars. And if Blueprint and the county commit dollars, then the city commit dollars, then we got enough money, right? And I'm still trying to figure out, like, why are you coming here when you know? But besides the point, what I would like to say is that this doesn't happen without you. This doesn't happen without your hard work. This doesn't happen without you all being dedicated and having faith in what you were trying to do for this community. We may not always do what you ask us to do. We may not always do it the way you want us to do it, but we understand that you have a heart for this community. And I think here at the county, I think you all understand that we have that same heart and we do the best we can to try to honor our community. And so This has never been done, but I think because of the nature and the fight that you all put in the blood and the time that you put into doing what you had to do to help us come up with policy that would lead to this moment where your vision of what we could be here, what this program could be a reality, deserves for you all to receive something from us. And so I would ask us as a commission, if you don't mind, to give these folks a standing ovation for what they have done for us and helped us with. Now, with that being said, this is the first project, not the last project. I think, again, one thing that we can take out of this, and I'll try to be as short as possible, but I'm excited, is the element of trust. There was a point that, though we were able to applaud you all, I don't think you all believed in us. You didn't think that we were going to get to this place because we weren't willing to do exactly what Pinellas was trying to do. But along the way, you were fair enough to listen to the conversations that we had and come to the table for it with a compromise. And that's another thing I give you credit for. It wasn't, you got to have it your way or it's no way. It was, okay, if you guys want to create something that's unique to Leon County, we're willing to sit down at the table as long as we're heard and we can come to something that would be effective for Leon County. And what I believe we've done here is that we have built a model that can be taken through, as I described it from the day that we started this conversation, we have built a model that can be taken from Leon County and implemented across the state of Florida if they want to be successful in trying to combine the municipality dollars with tax dollars to create affordable housing for the community. And again, I think the partnership with you all, with CAJM and with the community has been important in us being able to do that. So thank you again. I'm excited about us being here, and I look forward to supporting this vote. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Commissioner Maddox. Commissioner O'Keefe.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And this is fantastic. It's the first project, and what's great is if you look at it, there's a lot of money left for other projects, right? We set aside $500,000 from the county, and there's another $250,000 per year from Blueprint, of which this comes out of. And we funded one last year too, so we still are building. And so this is exciting. And I want to thank CAJM. I remember before deciding to run for office, or before running for office, being at your Nehemiah Action and thinking, they got these officials up there and saying yes, no, and you got 30 seconds with about 600 people who are voters, from congregations who are voters. And I thought, this is the best political organizing I've ever seen. And then it's been about 4 or 5 years, and I'm grateful for the faith you've shown. You went to the city. You went to Blueprint. You came to us, and eventually we got here, and we got here from Blueprint. I'm going to give, I believe it was Commissioner Maddox that brought the idea to Blueprint for getting the Blueprint 250. And so I want to say, I want the county to take credit for that part. And so I also want to thank our Housing Finance Authority and Mark Hendrickson for working with y'all and working with me. I remember meeting with him before we got to the GAP housing financing meeting, and he's totally on board, but he's like, this just doesn't work. But then to come back around and find something that works has been pretty incredible. I want to thank Shinkton for all the meetings and times. And I'm sure it was frustrating, but I believe that Shinkton believes I give him such a hard time because I care so much about this as he does. And so it's just fantastic. And I want to thank my colleagues for showing leadership. Not all elected officials continue to show up to your meetings when you're applying public pressure, but our colleagues did, and we found a way, and we're going to do more. And this has been a long time coming, and I will admit, many times through the process, I lost faith, and I was talking with Brian and being very upfront. Listen, man, I don't think we're going to get this, but I'm going to fight for it. And y'all held the faith and brought that for all of us, and so I want to thank you, because this would not have happened without you. but also to thank the leadership of my colleagues to also bring things along and work together. I couldn't say enough. Thank you.
Commissioner Minor.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Pastor Young, and to all the folks wearing green shirts, congratulations, you all. This is a perfect example of advocacy and action. And I think all of us have met with CAJM probably 6-10 times over the course of the last 3 years. But I'm not going to reiterate what folks have already said. Commissioner Maddox nailed it on the head, I think. But if you do remember, Commissioner Maddox referred to this a little bit. The first solution, the first proposal was the Penny for Pinellas land acquisition program, right? That was taking some funds from Blueprint to purchase land as a way to entice development for affordable housing. But I give you guys credit because you listened to us. Our staff advised us and they advised you that, listen, land acquisition is not the barrier here in Leon County. It's not what prevents development for affordable housing from taking place in Leon County. It's gap financing. It's bridging that amount between what the bank will finance and what the project requires. And you all listened and we pivoted, and that's what made it work. I will never tell the identity of this person, but one of the CAJM members confided in me, probably maybe after 2 years into the process, I don't know about this. Maybe we just need to throw up our hands and move on to the next subject. But you didn't. You stuck with it. And you guys do your research, you listen to us, we listen to you. This is a perfect example of people in their community getting things done. So thanks to each of you. This is a first success of many, and very proud to have been working with all of you and my fellow commissioners on this initiative. Thanks very much. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Commissioner Cummings, would you like to say anything?
Thank you, Chair. Agenda item, and I can't at home incapacitated. So, thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Commissioner Cummings. Commissioner Proctor.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. During my ill-spent youth, somewhere we had to learn this speech. And as Commissioner Maddox was speaking, it flashed in my mind that men may little note what we say here today. They should long remember what we do here today. And when he was talking, that particular speech that us little children was forced really to learn, And I think that what we do here today captures all of the comments. As you were speaking about not necessarily seeing the finish line, and I thought of the scripture that faith is the substance of things hoped for. It's evidence perhaps not seen. And what I want to say about CAJM is, over the years, there have been lots of groups and big parties of folk that may show up. But y'all have always brought to me town hall meetings and all the most exquisite speakers I've ever heard coming out of a group. No matter who y'all put in front of that mic, they're always tight and right, intense, on point, on the bullseye, make you pull out your handkerchief and, something get in your eye and dab at it. Bishop Otis Young just did something which, I'm extremely jealous of. He spoke in less than 3 minutes and earned a standing ovation. Ladies and gentlemen, I've spoken in classrooms, I've spoken in people's churches. I try to get a standing ovation occasionally. In less than 3 minutes. So, Rem Young, I'm coming to your church, and you better do something in less than 4 minutes. I'm gonna get up and walk out the door. But this has been, yes, sir?
Keep your comments to less than 3 minutes. I'll give you a standing ovation.
Second.
Well, I'm probably not getting that standing ovation. But I am also heartily delighted and share in the enthusiastic comments. This really is completely a noteworthy day. And thank you for your continuation. And the other thing that you've been extremely disciplined, never rude, even when disappointed, you've always been classy. And we can't help but respect that you've never allowed your passion to rise above and over your head. So I guess God put our heads on top of our bodies to subdue other areas. And so you allowed that to be the framework. You've been thoughtful, and we thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Proctor. Commissioners, I'll close this out, then we'll take it to a vote. You know, I believe I stated this in my letter that I sent to the board back in December when we were celebrating Commissioner Minor's win with North Monroe, through the North Monroe corridor. But one thing that I feel like makes this board special is that, and unique, not only across our community, but across other jurisdictions, is that we do such a good job about celebrating, not only community wins, but wins amongst our colleagues. And it's my belief that when any single one of us has a big win, the entire community benefits. I say that because, this idea that we're seeing come to fruition with a tangible affordable housing project was, originated through our colleague, Commissioner Maddox. And through that leadership, with an idea that makes it to this body now coming to fruition, it speaks not only to the leadership of our colleague, Commissioner Maddox, but to the entire board, that we're willing to listen to each other and work with each other and ultimately put the interest of our community first. So I say that just a congratulations to not only our community, not only to this project, but to our entire board. And I'm looking forward to seeing this come to fruition. So with that being said, let's take it to a vote. We have a motion on the floor moved by Commissioner Maddox, second by, who was second the motion? Commissioner O'Keefe. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Commissioner Cummings. I think she had some technical difficulties, but when she's recognized later, we'll have, she can adjust. So passes 6-0 with Commissioner Cummings out of the chambers.
Chair, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am, we can hear you now.
I vote aye.
Perfect, there it is. Passed
you.
unanimous.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Item number 18, Mr. County Administrator.
Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, in keeping with the theme as directed by the board, this item requests that we schedule the first and only public hearing to consider a local affordable housing property tax exemption. We have no speakers on this item.
Awesome. We have motion moved by Commissioner Maddox, second by Commissioner Minor. Commissioner Proctor, are you in the queue for this?
Yes, sir.
Commissioner Maddox?
Yes, sir.
Cool. Commissioner Proctor, you're recognized.
Yes, sir. Mr. Chairman, again, we're pumping the gas on affordable housing, and I take opportunity to lift up that our federal government is doling away federal lands for affordable housing. I would be remiss if not stopping in this moment to remind you that we are endorsing and moving forward with for affordable housing. And I would be remiss if I did not say to us, again, that Q10 is absolutely a policy direction which we've already adopted. And I believe that whatever the next steps are to secure the land, to complement affordable housing, we have more victory laps such as what we've just shared, celebrated with CAJM. So just wanted to offer that point. This is a significant moment to say so. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Proctor. Mr. Vice Chairman.
I didn't realize that was me. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you to Shinkton and staff for pulling this together. And I want to tell you where this came from. Ultimately, this came from our county and our commission being known as listening and being receptive to people in our community. A local affordable housing developer emailed me because they had heard us talking about affordable housing all the time and said, we've run into a problem. We are renovating hotels into studio apartments. We should qualify for this, and we're having trouble getting the certification. So I contacted staff, and staff immediately was like, oh, you don't need the ordinance. You connect them with this, and within, I think, a few days, they were on process for their exemption. And that only happens because we have a reputation for being responsive. And then from there, we learned that while they qualified, there was still a place in statute we could add more for complexes specific like this. And I really appreciate everybody's support in bringing this in. And I can't wait to get to the next celebration when we don't have to vote on it, but I still want the county administrator to let me know when the first complex is certified, and I'll go down there and see if I can rent an apartment. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Chair. Commissioner Cummings, any comments on this item?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. This particular item, it shows the county's commitment to providing affordable housing and needy in our community. I think these property tax exemptions that those low income households is going to help. No.
Commissioner Cummings having a hard time hearing you, ma'am.
Oh, okay. Can you hear me now?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Chair, can you hear me now?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I apologize. No, I'm saying I'm excited about this particular agenda item. I think it clearly shows the commitment of this board to provide affordable housing to our community, and especially to those individuals, low income and low income households. But I just have one question of staff and this maybe the county administrator. And I want to just commend also our county attorney for the ordinance. I think it's great. But how will this ordinance, once we hearing, how will it be disseminated to builders? How?
I think we got it. We can respond.
Yeah.
Cool, gotcha. You're recognized, Shinkton.
Yes, I believe what the commissioner's asking is about promotion. We intend to work with our HFA to do outreach to a couple of associations here in our community that for apartments and landlords, and also working with our CMR to get the word out. Well, it's going to be also put on our website. We also will work with Florida Housing to also make sure they're notified that we have adopted an ordinance that is not statewide, but also locally, so that way they can also make sure that developers are aware of the opportunity here in our community and a resource that we have added here in our community to increase the stock of affordable housing.
Commissioner Cummings, you're recognized.
Awesome. Thank you, Shinkton, for that. And I think what the county is doing with staff, I think it's just a feather in a cap. And I think it's important that they can see the we have set aside with the city and the county and blueprint. We're not stopping there, that we're showing added commitments to providing affordable. So thank you, Mr. Bassett, for support this particular agenda.
Thank you, Commissioner Cummings. Shinkton, I have a question. Are there any minimums to the multifamily use on this? Like, is this for any property?
You have to have 50 or more units.
Okay, so what are the other highlights, quick qualifications?
So, of course, it has to be in Leon County. And then the most important thing, of course, is units have to be dedicated to low-income households. And the way it's defined in statutes is those who are 60% or below. And at least 20% of those units have to be dedicated to that income level household in order to be eligible.
So 60% of the units?
No, 60% AMI is the area median income of the household. 20% is the minimum of the units of that 50 or more development.
Gotcha. Is there a particular reason why it's 50 units or more?
It's what's set in statutes. So in statutes, it sets exactly, sets the parameters of what local governments can adopt as part of an ordinance. But the other thing that's important is the fact that typically most units are 70 or more, and that's already captured in the state level property tax exemption that exists for those units that dedicate for low-income households.
So this is genuinely, I'm trying to understand. Is there a state statute that preempts us from making it less than 50 units?
Yes.
Gotcha, okay. Commissioners, that's something good just to keep in mind for us next legislative, as we go through our legislative priorities. To me, I don't know why there's a 50 unit minimum, right? If a developer buys multifamily property and it's 20 units and he wants to make it affordable housing, I think we should be able to give tax, I guess, rebate or benefit to that. And so just some food for thought that we're basically being preempted and said we can't give any incentive unless it's 50 units or more, what you're saying?
Correct.
Yeah. Just some food for thought for us to bring up in our next legislative priority meeting to say, hey, why don't we look at pushing to have this minimum dropped to less units to create more affordable housing? Commissioner O'Keefe, I see you in the queue.
Thank you. I'll be brief. Thank you for letting me double dip. I almost forgot. I want to make sure I understand correctly. This ordinance only provides county general millage exception.
Correct.
If the city of Tallahassee wanted to do the same, so it would apply for a property's city taxes, they could do the same thing.
Correct.
I'm sure we don't need anything official, but can staff already just let the city know, hey, we did this, would y'all like to look at it?
Yes, actually next week there is a joint county-city AHAC meeting. That's one of the things that will be brought to their attention, but it's something they're also evaluating.
Perfect, thank you.
Awesome. All right, commissioners, let's take this to a vote. We have staff, motion on the floor moved by Commissioner Maddox, second by Mr. Vice Chairman. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Commissioner Cummings?
Aye, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am, I can
Mr.
hear you
Chair.
now. Awesome, passes unanimous. Mr. County Administrator, item number 19.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Commissioners, item number 19 seeks full board appointments to the Affordable Housing Advisory Committee, the Council on Arts, on Culture and Arts, the Leon County Educational Facilities Authority. Commissioners, the item recommends options 1 through 4. You have the eligible applicants listed there. We have no speakers on this item. We're happy to answer any questions you might have.
Mr. Chair, as your appointee to the Affordable Housing Committee, I would make the motion for Victoria Allen St. Cole, as Kentisha James does not want to be reappointed. And then I will make reappointment, the reappointment motion for Earl Payne, Bruce Strobel, Sean Morgan, and T. Thompson.
Second.
Commissioner Maddox, you want to take us to the home stretch and do it all in one motion?
Yes, sir, I can do that. For Coca, looks like we had an ineligible to, so Sergio Fernandez, is number 8, as we have an ineligible to serve. And for Coca, and for the EFA, we'll go ahead and go James Billingsley for seat 6, and that would round out the nominations.
Awesome. Commissioner, got those on the record?
We do.
Cool. Motion moved by Commissioner Maddox, second by Commissioner Miter. Any discussion? Seeing none. All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Commissioner Cummings, I'm sorry, did you have any comment, or you're good with the motion?
Mr.
Awesome, passes unanimously.
Aye.
Awesome, passes unanimously. All right, commissioners, we are through general business. Look at the agenda real quick. Cool. What I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna go ahead and do citizens to be heard on non-agenda items, and then I'm gonna go to commissioner discussion. So is there any citizens to be heard on non-agenda items, Mr. County Administrator?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We have no citizens to be heard on non-agenda items.
Okay, awesome. Commissioners, we are now in commissioner discussion. Commissioner Cummings, you are recognized we are in commissioner discussion time.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I take indulgence for allowing me to appear telephonic for any
Commissioner Cummings, we're having a really hard time hearing you in the chambers. You're kind of going in and out.
Okay, let's see. I apologize. Can you hear me now?
Yes, ma'am, we can hear you now.
Okay. I'd like to move for a proclamation in the economic development area, OEV, in partnership with Von Wilson and Macy's. They're celebrating the 5th anniversary for the Black Business Expo that we attend every year. And I'd like to move for a proclamation.
Awesome.
For that partnership.
Commissioner Cummings has requested a proclamation for the Black Business Expo. I will second the motion. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Passes unanimously. Commissioner Cummings.
Proclamation for the work for the development related to SOMO walls, and that's the Muriel International, along with OEV, because we worked in conjunction with OEV and Blueprint.
Commissioner Cummings, Commissioner Cummings, unfortunately, I could not hear what the motion was that you made. Okay, Allie.
Hello.
Could you grab Chauncey? Commissioner Cummings, we're having a really hard time hearing you. Yeah, well, I'll come back to you. I'm going to come back to you, Commissioner Cummings. Commissioner Minor, recognized.
That's fine.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'll be very brief. This week, the Big Bend Continuum of Care is engaged in its point of time count, the PIT. It's the annual survey of the homeless population in not just Leon County, but throughout the Big Bend. It's really important because it gives us a good idea. We ask questions of folks that are on the street and get more detail about what barriers they have to permanent stable housing. And it also helps us, we collect that data and then send it to US HUD that helps us with funding here locally. So it's a really important exercise. Want to thank all the Big Bend COC staff for the incredible work it takes to pull this off, as well as all the volunteers. And it's taking place today, tomorrow, and Thursday at 1200 Church. So it's 1200 West Tharp. So if any of you have a chance, if you're driving by, stop in, say hi. I know it'd mean a lot to have us visit and lend support. So, and just again, big thanks to the Big Bend COC for all their work on this. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Awesome. Thank you, Commissioner Minor. Mr. Vice Chairman.
Thank you. I just have one is based on what Mr. DeLatry Hollinger talked about. And so I know the county administrator has sent me some information on it today. What I would like to do is ask for just a status report to come back on what we have learned about the size of the possible cemetery at Tom Brown Park, when that status report comes back, how wide the search at that point would be for any further size of that cemetery. And then as the owner who has a memorandum or one of the type of agreements we have, that can be in the status report with the city, what authority do we have to decide how we search and what is honored for what we find out there at Tom Brown Park?
Mr. Chairman, if it's okay with the board, and I assume it would be, If we have opportunities, we won't even wait for the status report to come back to you, but we'll report whatever actions we take when we bring it back to you.
Great.
That sounds good.
Is that a motion, or do you want just?
Since he's sending it back, since our county administrator is sending it back, that's fine. Thank you. That's all I have.
That's it? That's all you got? Awesome. Commissioner Proctor.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I was going to lift up the cemetery issues which Mr. Hollinger brought to our awareness, and I think that was the matter. That was also, so I amplify voice in support of that. I want to give a shout out to is Ms. Carey, Post still here. There's just not enough shout outs that we can give to salute the qualitative leadership that was given for the World Cross Country Championships. I saw pictures of you all, look like I'm gonna have to be photoshopped in a couple of them because I really missed the main one. Okay, and I probably someone looking for my gold medal, and nevertheless. Commissioners, I'm requesting your support of my attendance to the National League of City meeting in Washington in March. I know.
Second.
Okay.
Mayor Proctor sounds pretty good.
You know what? Don't push me in the back now. All right. Do I need a motion? I motion.
Yeah, motion and second. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye. Aye.
Passes unanimous.
Mr. Chairman, I wanted also to note that at the MLK, and I thank each of you for your participation, engagement, the county MLK celebration, saw pictures of that as well today. But I'd like for us to consider adopting officially for Leon County a new slogan, and it's just Leon.
Like Duval?
Yeah, like Duval. And I thought about that, and I asked the legislators, Tan and Gallup, to get that adopted, a resolution out of the House. But I've not heard back from them. But we're the county commission, and I think that as a gesture of Duval having that little chant that they know each other, I don't care where they are, they know each other. But we should also come up with our own little chant for Leon County, and I would like to make that motion that we adopt Leon, as our chant.
Staff just take that as direction.
Yeah.
Staff's just gonna take that as direction.
Well, let's keep the motion. Let's keep it moving forward, Commissioner Proctor.
Don't get too serious. Is Ms. Emma Smith still here? She left. Okay. All right. Well, I'll save comments for Emma. Mr. Chairman, a Grammy Award gospel singing out of Shady Grove Church. That's spectacular, and I'm very, very proud that you captured that, and salute what they're doing. I know some people want to know if I was in the choir and have some background. Yes, I do, and it's not on my resume, but I did sing in the choir. I was on the back row. I tell you, I was on the back row, and voices that are not too good usually get sent to the back row. But nevertheless, I know that was a great achievement. Those are my comments, Mr. Chairman. I thank each of you all for being my colleagues. You guys have been, I think, the greatest county commission among the commissions that I've ever served with, and I've only served with this one, but we're the greatest, and thank you all.
Thank you, Commissioner Proctor. I asked Chauncey to call Commissioner Cummings. I think he's going to put her up on the dais up there so she can finish her discussion time.
Yes, ma'am, go ahead.
Hello, Mr. Chair.
Chauncey, hold her closer up.
Oh,
We can hear you.
I don't think you can hear me.
We can hear you.
Yes, ma'am, they can hear you.
Okay, Mr. Chair, I apologize. Thank you for your indulgence. My first request for the proclamation, I think it passed when I asked for a proclamation for Mega Ace Media,
Yes,
Vaughn
ma'am.
Wilson.
Yes, ma'am, we got that. That passed unanimously.
You did hear me?
Yes, ma'am. That was the second motion I couldn't hear.
Okay, I can't hear.
The first
Mr.
one,
Chair.
the first one passed, they need to move on to the second one.
Okay, the second one, I'd like to ask for proclamation, joint proclamation for the Muriel International in conjunction with OEV, Leon County government, for SOMO walls to be presented at our next meeting. And that's my motion.
Motion moved by Commissioner Cummings for a proclamation, second by Commissioner Proctor. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Passes unanimously.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Is that it, Chauncey?
Oh, no, it's not. No.
Go ahead, ma'am.
Okay. I'd like to ask for an agenda item to come back to address the homeless, the number of homeless women and children in Leon County. Recognizing that as far as identification might be a problem, might be some impediments with children and families, with the dependency proceedings. But my goal is, and I think it's a lofty goal, but I don't think it's any more lofty than our concern about affordable housing for low-income individuals, but to reduce and totally eradicate the number of homeless women and children in Leon County.
Okay, so
That's
motion.
my motion, and I would ask support of the commission.
Motion moved by Commissioner Cummings, second by Commissioner Maddox. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye. Passes unanimously. Passed unanimously.
Thank you. Mr. Chair, I want to also address Mr. Hollinger came before the board today, and he addressed the casket and bones that were dug up last week.
Commissioner Cummings, we have the Vice Chairman O'Keefe already addressed that in his commissioner time, and we have an update coming back from the county
I didn't
administrator.
understand. You said again.
He says Commissioner O'Keefe already addressed that, and they have an agenda item coming back.
An update from staff.
An update from staff about that.
Okay, I didn't hear it. I guess it's during the time when they couldn't hear me, I couldn't hear them either. I'd like to, Mr. Chair, also, we received a couple of policies and some information from our general counsel. And one of the things we received last week was a letter of agreement, a contract for the retention of outside counsel. And I think our general counsel does a great job of selecting firms, especially, local firms, to farm out work when we have conflicts, or just when we need experts in that particular field. But I wanted to ask our county attorney, does the county have a list of law firms that we pull from? I know that legal services under the statute does not have to be, we don't need a solicitation or what have you. But I'd like to ask, do we have a list of law firms that with certain expertise that we pull from for certain services?
No, there's no list. We typically in the past, we retain counsel in part based on qualification. I believe the contract you're referring to is with Sylvia Alderman's firm. She's been the longtime counsel for the Planning Commission. They get their own attorney. We actually, in the last several years, we try to competitively procure for those services, but the person who provides that legal counsel to the Planning Commission is basically conflicted out of representing any private entity before the Planning Commission, and nobody else responded in the past. So we have, at times when there is a potential for a significant amount of money, actually gone out and competitively procured those services to try to elicit the best qualified firms that are available. But we don't have to, not because of the state statute, but because of our purchasing policy, which excludes that. It's consistent with the state statute on that, in that regard. But we do not keep a list of qualified firms. It really depends on what the subject matter is and the qualifications of the firms who can provide the service.
Do we have any minority law firms that we've contracted with? Well, my question was going to be if we have minority firms on a list, but we don't maintain a list. But do we, from time to time, does this solicitation go out to minority and women firms?
I do not retain counsel based on any gender or race, period. I don't do that.
Okay, so we don't have a list. Okay, thank you so much, Madam Attorney. I appreciate that. I think, Mr. Chair, let me look through my notes. I believe that's all I have, Mr. Chair, at this point. Thank you so much.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, Commissioner Cummings. We miss you and hope you feel better.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Mr. Maddox.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair. First of all, great seeing everybody. Our first meeting in 2026. We had a retreat yesterday, but it's our first time on the dais. And so, again, always a pleasure to serve with you all. Staff, thank you so much for that excellent packet that you all put together yesterday for the retreat and for the hard work that you put in the packet that we put together today. I did want to ask for a few proclamations, but before I did that, I want to go ahead and congratulate great Seminole coach Charlie Ward on his first year basketball season as FAMU head coach. He's ranked #1 in the SWAC. You know what?
He's doing well.
As I said it in my post, coaching matters. Coaching matters, and so I wanted to give Coach Ward a shout out, and if they win the SWAC, which I think they may, be on the lookout for a proclamation, for me asking for that proclamation once they win it, to be presented to him and the team. My first proclamation, Fairview Middle School Division I baseball champions deserves a proclamation. I want to present it off-site.
Second. Proclamation requested Commissioner Maddox, second by myself. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Secondly, Multiple Sclerosis Awareness Month, presented off-site as well in March.
Second. Proclamation requested by Commissioner Maddox, moved by second by myself. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye. Last but not least, we're going to recognize 20-year anniversary of the Brownsville Preparatory Institute with a proclamation as well, Mr. Chair.
Second. Motion moved by Commissioner Maddox, second by myself. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
All three of those proclamations will be presented off-site, Mr. Chair, as I know you're trying to streamline these meetings. Great meeting tonight. I know we got one more public hearing together. You've run a heck of a meeting, Mr. Chair, and I look forward to your year as chair. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Mr. Immediate Past Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just real quickly, want to congratulate the Lawton Childs High School's competitive cheerleading team for winning their first ever state championship this past weekend. Want to give them a proclamation.
Second.
Proclamation requested by the immediate past chairman, second by Commissioner Maddox. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Thank you. I just want to remind my oldest daughter that while she competed at cheer over the course of her high school career, she only won 2 state runners-up. So get better, Chloe. All right. Congratulations, Child's Cheer. Thank you, guys.
Mr. County Administrator, in the business?
I have nothing, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Madam Attorney?
In the interest of kudos, I just wanted to make it very clear that Deputy County Attorney Emily Norton bore the lion's share brunt of all of the legal work associated with putting on the World Cross Country Championships. She's not in the room, but I do want to give credit where credit is due, and she really carried that load and deserves a lot of the credit for all of that work. The only other thing that I wanted to, piece of information I wanted to give to the board to think about, and this is a result of our conversations, the board's conversations yesterday at the retreat related to educating the public about the impacts of the potential referendums that are being considered. There is a statute, Section 106.113, entitled Expenditures by Local Governments. And it says, a local government or a person acting on behalf of local government may not expend or authorize the expenditure of, and a person or group may not accept public funds for a political advertisement or any other communication sent to electors concerning an issue, referendum, or amendment, including any state question that is subject to a vote of the electors. Okay? It is irrespective of whether the communication is limited to factual information or advocates for the passage or defeat of an issue, referendum, or amendment. Now, what is permitted under the statute? It does not preclude a local government or a person acting on behalf of a local government from reporting on official actions of the local government's governing body in an accurate, fair, and impartial manner, posting factual information on a government website or in printed materials, hosting and providing information at a public forum, providing factual information in response to an inquiry, or providing information as otherwise authorized or required by law. I just want to put this on the board's radar because as the legislature continues to move these proposals through the legislative session, there will come a point in time where what this body can do will be more limited. And I just want you to know in advance that those limitations exist. And at some point, they are more than likely going to be triggered. So if and when that happens, let's have more conversations to make sure that there's no allegation that anyone on this board is violating this statute. Thank you.
Thank you for that update. Commissioners, I really don't have too much. I know we covered a lot of business yesterday in the retreat. Looking forward to a great 2026. I think we have a meeting in 2 weeks. And then we'll be back to business. So I will recess us until 6 o'clock for our public hearing.